Good evening, Professor Store. Coming to you to do challenge number 3, which has kind of been challenging for me because I had some Microsoft Word issues. Spent all day yesterday watching the videos and taking notes, and then the file was corrupt. So I don't really know what happened to that. I'm not a very technological person. First question was, according to Mr. Store's lecture, what are your big what are the biggest challenges when it comes to informative speaking? Um, uh, some of the biggest challenges was not being self-centered, doing a self-centered speech based off of your upbringing, your religious beliefs, your sexual beliefs, all that stuff, and making sure the speech is audience centered, making sure that it relates to them and they can understand the information that you are presenting to them. One of the things was that stuck out to me in that was the little section on the doctor. How everybody knows that doctors are smart, but sometimes when you start talking to them, and even me in my career, you start talking to them and you have no idea what they're saying because they don't symbolize it to terms that I can understand or the general public can understand. I've actually seen that in cases where the family was in with the patient, the doctor's talking to them, you can tell the family has no idea. A lot of times I've been able to dumb it down for them and explain it to them on terms where they can understand. I feel like in this position, we might not stand in front of a crowd and do informative speaking, but I feel like we do it every day at work. We're informing people about medical conditions or stuff that's going on. Maybe they have a general idea, but they don't really understand it, and you can break it down for them and you can actually see it. Um, Going to the SICC, first one was the simplicity. For the simplicity, making sure that the stuff that you're presenting or your aids are not too complex. Making sure, and for me, making sure that you're not using too many words and words just to fill the page. Uh, for an example, making sure that you stick to just the 2 to 5 main points and topics, not throwing out 100 different ones so people don't really get it. They are overloaded. And the part about scratching the surface, where if you're teaching something, you start really small and then you just work your way through it and build up, build up, build up into the big finale on multiple speeches. Interest, being able to captivate the audience interest, making the audience understand that why they should know this instead of just like, oh, I don't understand, like why do I need to know this? Why is this important to me? So making sure you motivate the audience, involve the audience, and tell the audience how it benefits them in their day-to-day life or what they're doing at that time. Clarity, making sure it's actually clear to the audience and they're not just sitting there listening with a blank face. Make sure your speech is organized, and make sure you use language that everyone understands and not just you, unless you're presenting to an audience that is in the same capacity as you. Like if you're a doctor or a neurologist and you're talking to other neurologists. Um, Also, one of the things that stood out to me, and I didn't really know that, was the 8th grade level language in magazines. I had no idea. And also, one of the other challenges would be like teaching someone about something new, like a new invention, and they have zero idea what it is. So being able to relate it back to something that's already existed. And also the credibility, making sure you make yourself credible. Why should people listen to what you have to say? What makes you capable of teaching this and them understanding it or knowing that you know what you're talking about? The other one, which of the challenges do you think will be the most difficult for you? Um, I definitely think the simplicity one, especially when I get talking about stuff that I'm passionate about, I can just go on and on and on. And it probably wouldn't be as simple. I might start using stuff that other people don't understand, especially if it's fire EMS related. We use a lot of lingo that the general public probably has no idea other ways to explain it, but with me, sometimes I get carried away. And also, I would probably say the clarity, and that also goes back to the speaking with everybody else and the visual aids, especially with PowerPoint. I am not very technologically advanced, so doing the special PowerPoints and the ones that and designing everything myself will be a challenge, but I am excited to learn that. I did watch the video on that, but I was unclear of which one you exactly said was the best to use. I saw Canva and PowerPoint and slides, which I've used PowerPoint slides, so if you have any feedback on that, that would be greatly appreciated. And also, um, not giving too much information. So, not giving more than the 2 to 5 topics. That will probably be difficult for me. Going to what is the difference between an audience centered and a self centered speaker? My understanding of it as self centered speaker is when you're talking to entertain yourself, to show your knowledge off, and you're not really worried about how the audience is perceiving it or if they're really understanding it. An audience center speaker is using props or using terms and breaking it down and making it as simple as possible to get your point across to the audience, to inform them and for them to actually be informed and not just listening and not just be able to repeat back what you said, but actually understanding it, to base it off of the audience's level and the audience's feelings versus your own. Oh, my personal goal for this speech uh, is better to get better at using my voice, to not just have a monotone voice, to actually use the what the lady was talking about with the voice branding, how your tone and your pitch and everything. I would like to be able to work on that. So I'm not just monotone. I always talk monotone. It's just my nature. So I think being able to work on that will help it, and also get better at doing visual aids and PowerPoints. I kind of had 2 topics. I wasn't really sure. Going back to the demonstration speech, how you told me that I should, I my job field is really good for being able to do a speech like this to help people. One of the topics that I was choosing was shutting your bedroom door at night. I don't think people really understand how important that is, especially if your house catches on fire, and how much time that can actually buy you and give you time to maybe make an escape or the fire department to get there to rescue you. And also, the other one I was thinking of was maybe talking about how important it is to have like a fire extinguisher in your kitchen, because almost everybody cooks. There's always kitchen fires, and I've been to kitchen fires where people have had fire extinguishers and was able to put it out before we got there, and I've been to kitchen fires where they didn't, and their entire house burnt down. I think that relates to everybody because pretty much everybody cooks at least something, whether it's the microwave, the oven, the stove, and everybody has those in their house: stoves, microwaves, ovens, and everyone has bedrooms. So I think both of them would be good for the audience. Why did I choose this topic? Uh, I am personally very passionate about life safety and fire safety. I feel like it's important to spread awareness and help people better understand that small steps can help a lot in a fire. And the steps that they can take, not just call the fire department, run out of the house. Especially if you're asleep and you have your door shut, it could be the difference in life and death. I think it's very important. I think everyone has an idea of what a fire is and what to do, but I don't think people understand like the details, like small steps they can take to buy a lot of time or to save them or their family. Um, I consider the audience as a group of my peers. I feel like everyone has some life or some fire safety, but I don't know if they understand why they're doing what they do, like shutting the door at night. I'm sure my mom told me, I'm sure most people's moms always shut the door at night, and that is to help. Some people might just think it's just safer. They don't understand why it's safer. And then for the other topic is everyone probably cooks. So I think all that's important. Um, what will you say in the introduction? One thing is like the questions. Start with the question: Are you prepared if a fire started while cooking ramen noodles on the stove? I think that would be an attention grabber because I don't know. I think a lot of college kids eat ramen noodles. That's what I've always heard. Um, and then the other one would: Do you like sleeping in a hot bed? Could you imagine how hot your bed would be on fire? Shutting your door at night could prevent that. I know it's kind of cheesy, but that would get my attention, and I would think it would get the audience's attention because no one likes a hot bed. Tell me the main points in your speech and what do you plan to cover in your speech. I want to cover how fast fire spreads in a normal house or apartments. I think it's important to realize exactly how fast that moves through the house. I'll cover how long it actually takes for the average fire department to get on scene. Pull nation data just to say, hey, you call, but it's not, they're going to be there in 30 seconds. There's actually a process for them to get there. I want to explain how much time you can actually buy if your door's closed at night, how long it would take it to get through that, and how much time you can actually have. And that'll revert back to how fast the fire spreads in the house. And also, if I use the other topic, how efficient a fire extinguisher is in the kitchen, how fast you could actually put the fire out, or how much you could actually help before the fire department gets there. Also, I would touch on how to actually keep your kitchen safe or your bedroom safe to kind of prevent a fire, and explain how important it is to have a escape plan for you and your family if anything ever happened. Um, I will begin my speech with a question and vetting my credibility. Tell them, who I am, what my background is, so they kind of know, hey, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And then I would end it by just giving a quick recap, like telling them, "Hey, don't forget, you're not just shutting your door to not be able to see the light in the kitchen. You're shutting your door to prevent, possibly prevent the fire from spreading to your bedroom," which I think are all extremely important points for everyone to know. Um, Look forward to hearing back your feedback. Thanks.